everyone. Hello, hi, how the hell are you? Welcome into The Hop, a craft beer podcast with Gabe, with Steven. We're making Thirsty Thursday fun, enjoyable, innovative, inclusive, all the things. We're so happy you're joining us. We're here for another great round 141. Oh my God, that's a lot of beer. I am Gabriel Priya, as always, with my co-host Steven Geronimo Humes.
Hey, heidi hody people, welcome in. It's another Thirsty Thursday, 141 episodes in the can, and it's the end of May. We're just flying through 2023, man. It's just, it's going fast, and it's crazy, and we're going to another LA brewery to bounce off paperback 2 episodes ago. We're now at Boomtown Brewery in downtown Los Angeles, about a mile's walk from where I currently hang my hat. I walked into this place, had never been there before, figured I'd check out a new brewery in the area, and nice. I loved it. And I usually do. And I said, you know what? Welcome to The Hop. So that's what we're getting into today, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited as well. Steven hooked me up with these beers, and now I know that he's a mile away from the brewery, so you could jog there and back, and there's your workout for the day.
So if you
drinking in between, but whatever.
Jog there, grab a drink, jog back, no harm done.
I mean, I don't see the problem.
It's not a healthy experience, but it's not.
It's just me.
It's a net neutral. Yeah, and if you want to know where I live, you could just go find Boomtown on a map, do a radius for about a mile, and just make some guesses. It's a cool LA spot. It opened a few years ago, and it just has a really good vibe. Lots of games, lots of people. It's right near the Arts District. There's a lot of breweries in that area. And
do they have trivia?
I think they do. I was there on, unfortunately, karaoke night. So it was loud up in there. All right. But, they had the NBA going on. They have giant screens. It's they have a giant projector screen there's a separate room. If you're on YouTube, which you can find us on YouTube, just search for the Hop of Craft Beer Podcast. Gabe's in one area of the tap room. And then there's another area to the side that has a giant screen with all the couches and tables facing the screen. It's everything's facing this way. So you could just watch sports. So
amazing. That's amazing. Anytime there's a projector involved, it's going to be classy, it's going to be dope. And they have beer there. So what's better than that?
They do. Step 1 for a brewery tap room, have beer. And check mark at Boomtown Brewing. So
pumped.
Follow us on social media if you don't already at the HO Podcast. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, follow, spread the word, help us make the show better for you, because that's what we're always striving to do. And if you have suggestions or requests for The Hop, feel free to reach out to thehopod@gmail.com and send those requests our way. If you request a brewery, we will make it our mission in life to get that brewery on the show.
Let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. Let us know if your NBA team or NHL team is still in the playoffs. If they are, that is so good for you, and we applaud you. There's nothing more that we're going to do about. We'll raise a toast to you. How about that? There we go.
Let's get newsy.
Beer news.
I have a whole. I don't follow basketball really because it just didn't stick, and I definitely don't follow the NHL. But I have a whole bracket laid out for the NBA playoffs, and we're not going to go through it here because we're recording a little early. It's going to be very dated by the time this episode drops. But I have a whole bracket laid out. I have a whole plan right down to the end, and so far it's going well.
I was just going to say, so as of this moment, without naming any teams, how are you doing?
As of this recording, I'm truly nailing it. We'll go through it.
Okay.
We'll go through it afterwards.
All right, great. You know me.
Not too much news, but we'll get into some stuff. JetBlue is now serving athletic brewing on flights. That's fun if you're a non-alcoholic drinker, but you want to get a little, not buzzed in the sky. A little, if you want to just have an athletic brewing in the sky. I don't know.
If you're trying to impress someone next to you who doesn't know what athletic brewing is, then yeah, you nailed it.
You can now do it in the air on JetBlue.
I want to know how much it costs.
Oh, that's an easy, airplanes, it's like $7-8. It's not like going to the ballpark, but it's worth it to me, man. There's nothing like a beer in the sky at this point. If you gotta,
that's true.
You don't do a lot of the cross country flights, those 6-hour ones.
Those
they suck.
Are tough, and those require maybe a beer or a little something. But a Spirit airline to Miami, when I asked for water and they just gave me ice. Yeah, that's
Spirit.
I was feeling some type of way. Anyway,
yeah, we don't need to put them on blast necessarily, but I want we can. That's an airline where it's like they charge you extra to like breathe their air. No, thank you. Yeah. There's a reason those tickets are $40.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the end of May. Summer is just around the corner, and so in terms of beer trends, we're just seeing, it's that time of year where you're going to start seeing your shandies, your Belgian wits, your lighter beers, lighter drinking options. People need to get their beach bods ready. So if you're into that kind of thing, there's plenty of that there for you. If you're into the heavier imperial stout world, you might have to dig a little deeper this time of year. They still are out there, but it's not the trend of the moment.
Yeah, that's true. No one really wants to drink a heavy, sticky stout when it's 100 degrees out. But if that AC's cranking,
why not?
No, it's basically winter.
Yeah. For our first real story here, let's talk about Founders Brewing for a hot second. We very much enjoy Founders Brewing Company, brewery out of Michigan. They were on the hop way, way back in one of our early, I believe it was the St. Patty's Day episode, but they have some not so fun stuff going on. First of all, their taproom in Detroit. Well, it's really all related to the taproom in Detroit. So they had a lawsuit filed against them by a former employee of the taproom, Naima Dillard. And the employee is alleging sort of a long history of unfair treatment, discrimination, and retaliation against them, basically for being that they're being racist. This is an allegation; it's not proven to be true. She was speaking through her attorney, Jack Schultz, and they are it was filed in the district court in the area, and we'll see how it all plays out. But she claims, quote, throughout her, Ms. Dillard's time as manager at Founders Detroit Taproom, she was utilized merely for the optics of having a black manager while being treated completely differently than her white counterparts. And it goes on from there. Not good, not cool. It kind of goes, it goes on, and you can read the statement if you're interested. It's on brewbound.com and other places.
The interesting thing about the article says her complaint is the second high-profile lawsuit against Founders in this sort of situation where someone was being discriminated. So the fact that it's happening, A, period, sucks. B, happening more than once. Guys, what are we doing here? We got a reoccurring problem that we need to, as we always say,
clean it up. And the other big news around Founders, this was about last week or so, is that they won't really have the chance to clean it up there because they're just closing the taproom. So the Detroit taproom operated for about 6 years, and the lawsuit was actually filed post them announcing the closing of the taproom, but it all took place at the same location. Founders is based in a city in Michigan that is not Detroit, the name of which escapes me, but this was their Detroit kind of outpost. They said the decision involved a lot of careful consideration of each aspect of our business and ultimately what we felt was best for the company and our employees overall. We explored every possible avenue to course correct the business and gave it as much time as we could. Ultimately, they need to close the taproom. So it's not that surprising that the taproom is closing, given the state of the economy, given the state of the way any business is doing at the highest and lowest levels. But tied to this lawsuit, it just doesn't look good. And I think the ultimate thing that needs to be said is clean it up. And I should say, in fairness, it needs, I should read some of Founder's statement in regards to the lawsuit, which they said, quote, "We are deeply saddened and concerned to learn of the recent accusations that have been brought against the Detroit taproom. We take these claims very seriously. We're conducting a thorough investigation. Since 2019, we've instituted mandatory bias, discrimination, and harassment training throughout our organization. We have re-examined our policies and enacted new policies, along with implementing new procedures for the reporting of workplace concerns." And the statement goes on from there. You can read it in full again on brewbound.com.
Domino effect, one thing leading to another. It's kind of nuts. So hopefully they get that fixed. On the lighter side, moving right along, the National Black Brewers Association, which they're calling NB2A, is announced that Kevin Asato is tapped to lead the association. This is new. This is fun. This is awesome. They announced it today as the Brewers Association Annual Craft Brewers Conference kicked off in Nashville, Tennessee. NB2A is known as, quote, first of its kind nonprofit organization that aims to promote the Black brewing community, increase Black participation at all levels of brewery employment. They want to really, they definitely want to diversify the field and really showcase, as they're calling, historical context and legacy surrounding African-American influence on brewing in the U.S. Kevin Asato has been around beer for quite some time. We are very excited about this. Kevin, best of luck. Pour us a drink. We'd love to have one with you, maybe have you on the show. But this is awesome to see. And again, it is the National Black Brewers Association, which they're calling NB2A.
I love it. The beer industry thrives a lot on trade groups and trade organizations. And the fact that there's one so focused on what is so important to the industry and so important to us as a show, sort of the diversity, which it always feels like funny to say, because I'm very aware that we're two white dudes talking about beer, but it's just something we care about promoting when we get the chance to. And so the fact that there's now a trade association specifically devoted to this cause, Kevin, we wish you all the best and all the success, because this is awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? We're going to drink to you now, Kevin and everybody, and we're going to kick it off with a toast like we always do.
Smooth jazz. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
But we're here. So what better to complement the smooth jazz than with a really hard rock song? All those Saturdays when kids go out and play, I was up in my room. I let the stereo blaze. Wasn't faded, not jaded, just a kid with a pad and a pen and a big imagination. All this I seek, I find. I push the envelope to the line. Make it, break it, take it, until I'm overrated. Click, click, boom. I'm coming down on the stereo. Hear me on the radio. Click, click, boom. I'm coming down with a new style, and you know it's buck wild. Click, click, boom.
Boom. I see what you did there. Because it's Boomtown Brewery.
This one I was like, I gotta make this one work. How often do you get a name with boom in it? So I figured instead of getting sued, I'll just read the lyrics rather than have the song play.
Was that?
That is by the group Saliva.
I never would have gotten that right.
Don't let the name fool you. They are or used to be a great rock band. And
they are or used to be. Cool. Let's do it. Boomtown, baby. It is the Belgian style wit that they call the Ingenue. Ingenue Belgian style wit, clocking in at 4.8% ABV. IBUs are at 16. Untapped has it rated at 3.53, and it has been a while since we had a Belgian wit on the show, I think.
Sure has.
So,
yeah, this is a classic style. We love it. It's very light. It's very breezy. And Ingenue. Okay, so the name isn't Ingenue a name for like a very sophisticated type of person or like heiress to a throne or something? Am I making this up?
It's supposed to be like in like film or theater. Technically, it's actually just like an innocent young woman. They're usually like the young, sort of naive, like
an ingenue. Yeah, okay.
Like learning about the world kind of thing. Like your leading lady type thing is the actual definition.
Okay, all right.
But
so this works for us then, right?
So it makes total sense for us. I guess it fits in with the sort of Hollywood nature of this brewery, right? Is that it's a very Hollywood word. So from the brewery, their description, quote, "This blonde ale is inspired by the miners or working class ales of Hainaut. This white is brewed with Belgian Pilsner malt, white winter wheat, rolled oats, and lightly hopped with imported Czech Sazbra. We brew this beer with extremely soft water in order to create a mouthfeel that matches the effects of the oats, full of sweet, bready notes with a nice creamy body, yet finishes clean and dry." That's cool, but I now need to know what soft water is. What's as opposed to hard water?
Well, so soft water is you take water and you boil it and then you put it back in the fridge, and because of it gets soft. I don't know. I have no friggin' idea.
You sound like you know what you're talking about, even though I knew you didn't.
That's because acting school, baby.
Okay, yeah, soft water. This is going to be the Belgian style, characterized by a lot of spiciness, a lot of sort of spicy notes. You typically get that banana. You get the yeast really shines through. The malt tends to be pretty sort of herbaceous in a way. So I'm excited to get into it. Can art wise, not a lot to talk about. It's just it's gold and white, and in this particular one, the label is like not even print. It's just like one they slapped on there.
Just like it's just one they typed
just
out.
Just a generic can. So
yeah,
but that's okay.
Use the Calibri font. Who cares? Just type it out.
Crafting
you gotta get these stickers on.
Community through beer, art, and conversation.
Whatever. We'll see about that.
Here it is in the glass. SRM chart. It's pretty light golden. I would probably put it around a 4. It's like a light yellow, very clear in the glass, but lots of bubbles coming up, poured with a little ring of white foam, very fizzy, dissipated very quickly. I'm drinking out of a sort of tumbler glass. Gabe has a fun beer mug.
I've got what I'm considering a honey pot at this point. It's just a big ass stein, but it's thick, thick, and it fit the whole beer. So,
and on the nose,
so I can chug it.
I mean, yeah, it's Belgian through and through. It's bready, it's weedy, it's the orange peel, the coriander, the like banana notes. Yeah, the Hefeweizen style, if you will. This is Belgian, not German, but it's that kind of thing. It's definitely got a lot of just different notes, different citrusy notes, different fruity and spicy and earthy notes, and the yeast powers through as well. It's a really good complex style, and it's at 4.8% ABV, so it's very manageable as well. So it's a light drinker.
It's a light drinker. It's also got, like you said, that spicy note quality to it, while also with, I would say, a pretty good malt backbone as well. It kind of fades into the background after the yeast, but or along with the yeast. But classic wit. People love this style. They swear by this style, and I'm with you. It's, every once in a while I'll grab one, like on when we're doing this. But it's got a place in this world.
Yeah, it's one that I think in my head is kind of slept on, like by me itself, because I don't reach for them very often. I go for more hoppy typically, but there's a lot to be said for this style because it is so flavorful and it is a fairly easy drinking beer again. So it's one that's come around at this brewery for years, I think, and I am excited to get into it, and I think we should do that now.
Alrighty, happy hi-ho. Here comes the boom. Oh, wow. This is very sweet. Very banana-y. Very yeast malty backbone, but very sweet. Like pineapple almost. Wow.
Agreed. Yeah, the citrus is more tropical than I thought it would be. It's very fruity. It's got all of the classic Belgian notes. It has the straw and hay. It has the coriander. It has the banana. But the hop bill, I think, is where it really comes through, is very, like you said, some pineapple, some mango, which you don't see in this style a lot. It's kind of like a blonde ale meets a classic Belgian wit. It's kind of like a hybrid. It's interesting.
It's so fruity and delicious, and it's got like a slightly crisp but also gentle mouthfeel. The back end is very refreshing and more of that tropical note. It's fun. If you're going to make anything with soft water, obviously it's going to be a knockout. I like this. This is good. We could probably slam these.
Oh, for sure. These are going to do very little to us booze wise. They're very easy drinking, but I think, it's interesting. The rolled oats that are in there, when I see oats, I typically expect it to have a bit of a creamier mouthfeel. This does not. It's very crisp to me. It drinks more like a Pilsner than a Hefeweizen, I think.
I would agree with that.
And I think the fruitiness of it is very maybe uncharacteristic of the style, but I think it's also a good beer. So I don't know where that leaves me. I like it a lot. I do. It's a good combination of flavors. It's a good balance. It's a good drink in general.
I would this beer is like a dad beer.
Go on.
You know what I mean? Like, so you know how some people, they have the dad hats and it's just like the classic dirty cap and they use it when they're mowing the lawn and it's just dads doing dad things. I feel like this is the beer that it's not too strong. It's not too boozy. It's like just enough. Like, this is a beer you have when you're done working like in your yard. You've cleaned the hedges. You mowed the lawn. It looks beautiful. All the neighbors are jealous. It's like a hot Sunday. It's like 3:30. You just finished. You're like, let me go inside. You got grass clippings all over you. Let me grab a beer because I've earned a hard day's work. And you grab this, and it's just a dad just being like, nothing can make me upset because I'm drinking this.
It also, I'll offer another take, would be a great end of the night beer. You're a little too hammered to reach for another IPA, but you still want to just keep hanging with your friends. Grab one of these. It's going to be a nice, light, easy drinker that's just going to coast you to the end of your evening. I'll pitch that as well.
Or, hear me out. It's the end of the night and you don't want to fall asleep because you're a dad. And so you grab this because you want to hang with your friends. So we made it work for both. It
works for both of us. So we're both right. And that's beautiful. It's just a little bit not what I expect from the phrase Belgian wit, but I also don't know that that's a bad thing. It's just a little bit light on the like weedy, yeasty thing that you typically expect. But I wouldn't characterize it as something else either. So I guess that is the best description of it. It's just an interesting...
It's a Belgian wit with its own style.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got Pilsner malt in it. And it's got Czech hops. So, I don't know. So
we're living in that world. The flavors are there. malt backbone and the all the Belgian style is there. It's just got a fun little spin on it. And Melting Pot is a great segue into the brewery because they're located in the Arts District, or what I guess people are calling that the Melting Pot of LA. Steven, you've been there. You went for karaoke. You sang.
No.
What did you sing? You knocked it out. Standing O.
Excuse me. No, absolutely not. No, I wandered in. So what happened was, I live in downtown LA, which is interesting because I used to live in New York. So a lot of people don't like downtown LA because it's downtown LA, but it is the most city-like part of LA. LA is very spread out, and there's a lot of neighborhoods. It's kind of like a whole lot of different cities that are just sort of tangentially adjoined. But downtown makes me feel the most at times like I'm in New York. So I'm embracing being able to walk around downtown. Wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but that's where I'm at in life. Anyway, all that to say, I walked into this brewery on a Friday night, and it was packed. And so if you check out the hop on YouTube, you can see the brewery behind us. I am outside the brewery, so you walk in originally through this like alleyway. If you can see it here, it's sort of this very big building in a sort of nondescript area. It's in the Arts District on the outskirts of it. And you walk down the hallway there, and there's several entrances. There's the section that Gabe is in on YouTube, which is where the bar is.
Hold on real quick. There's a pool table behind me. Ready? Look.
There's a pool table behind him. There's the bar in the corner, and this is where the karaoke was happening. And then there's another section which also has other games such as cornhole and I think I saw some pinball. There were some arcade games going on in there. There was maybe some foosball, screens, TVs, games, outside and inside, whole bunch of things going on.
Amazing.
And the Arts District is home also to a lot of breweries. So if you're interested in, honestly, if you're into the brewery scene, LA, specifically downtown LA, has a lot to offer you, but you could go down to the Arts District and just hit a bunch of different breweries right there. And you could hit everything from Arts District Brewing to Boomtown to, I could go on. There used to be a Modern Times down here. There's not anymore, but there's, I think a Angel City Brewing is down there. There's a whole lot. So
let me ask you this. Last time I was there, we went to like the Comedy Store. Is that in the Arts District? Like, where is that in relation to this brewery?
That is in Hollywood, which is where this brewery was trying to be.
Oops.
Kind of. It's in Hollywood. That's basically up on like Melrose or Sunset or something. I don't know. I don't know streets that much. But no, we're in downtown, so we're kind of closer to the Staples Center. Let me put it that way. Or I'm sorry, the Crypto.com arena.
Okay, tangent. You started it. We're doing it. I refuse to call that building Crypto.com arena. Are you kidding me? That sucks.
I hate it too.
It's the Staples Center.
Mike, how do you feel about it?
Exclamation point!
He doesn't actually feel that way, but it's the most basketball-y drop we have.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just going to say it real quick. Go ahead, buy the stadium, but why rename it? Just keep it, just Crypto.com presents Staples Center. I don't know.
Or call it the Crypto Center. Whatever. At least call it something that doesn't have the .com. Whatever.
Yeah, that's lame. I feel like every arena nowadays, like the Miami Heat used to play in American Airlines Arena. Now it's something completely different. Like everyone's just being bought out. And it's like, what?
It's getting weird out there. Anywho. What happened to Heinz Field? Anyway, moving on. This brewery was founded by John Rankin and Sam Chawinga. I like his name. Chawinga.
Wait to read that.
They started brewing together in 2015. They were going around to local like beer fests and things like that. They were trying to get the brewing off the ground. They finally opened a tap room in 2017. John has the culinary background, and the hospitality background, so he did that, and he helped Sam come up with the kind of fun recipes. And downtown LA was the spot. I think they were trying to open it in Hollywood. Is that right?
They were trying to open it in Hollywood. The quote from John says, being the first brewery in Hollywood would have been great, but as that became more challenging and expensive, the natural next move for us was the Arts District. And then this touched me when he said, I feel like the Arts District is LA's Brooklyn to Manhattan. Yay, Brooklyn. I live there. Fun times. Yeah, what's cool is John, it said culinary background. It didn't say chef, but it is cool that even, if you're a chef or producer or whatever for culinary wise, to be able to come up with recipes for beer. It's kind of the same, almost the same as coming up with recipes for a meal. Except we're drinking it, not eating it. You know what I mean? So to have a culinary background can only help so much, and I'm sure it has influence over these beers. Maybe it has influence over the fact that this Belgian wit tastes the same, but also a little more amplified than what we're used to.
Yeah, beer in LA, I keep saying it. We had Paperback on, we've done some LA beers, but we could do an LA series for months. We could just go through LA. I mean, it's interesting. It's fascinating because I live here and I'm from New England and I've, lived in New York and I've drank beer all over the country. I am very interested in the beer here because it is in a lot of ways its own thing. It is experimental, for better or worse. I think that at times, depends on the brewery you're in. Sometimes it can feel like it's a brewery that's trying to do something they don't understand. And other times it can feel like a brewery that's just doing their own thing. And, this feels more in that world to me where it's like it's a brewery doing its own thing. They are brewing a Belgian wit. It's kind of a Belgian wit. Would the Belgians like it? I don't know, but we're in LA, so fuck it. I don't like it's its own world. So that's the way I feel about a lot of the breweries down here.
It's dope. It seems like a fun spot. They apparently, along with karaoke, have open mic nights, which they started after during the pandemic. They would open up the outside, and as a way to get people at the brewery, they said, come do some open mic nights, come make us laugh with some yucks. And if you come to the show, you'll get $2 off a beer. So I think it's a perfect thing to do. It was, they powered through the pandemic. They stayed open. And maybe, Hop listeners, just maybe, if we try hard enough, we'll get Steven to finally do some stand-up or karaoke, his choice, people. Like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what you would rather see him do. I think I'd rather see him do comedy.
We will, how about this? We'll fly Gabe out here, and we'll have our first ever live Hop recording in front of a live audience, and we'll hold it at Boomtown Brewery.
I'll do karaoke if you do, 2 minutes of stand-up.
We'll get our
just
people...
Just your best bit, just knock it out.
We'll get our people on setting that up. It's the perfect space for that, honestly. It's interesting because mostly breweries suffered during the pandemic, but this is a brewery that honestly hit its stride in a way, drawing people in because they have the space to do it. And that's the beautiful thing about the Arts District. It is removed enough that you can have these sort of wide open spaces, and that's why you see a lot of breweries in that area. Hollywood is very congested and tight. And so it's just, I can imagine it was really hard to find a place. It's very similar to the Manhattan Brooklyn thing. I mean, I've said for a long time, there's no Manhattan brewed beer. I think there is now maybe one or two since we've started this podcast. That's how young it is. But for the most part, it's just not brewed there because it's just not practical. It takes a lot of space to brew beer, and there's just not a lot of it in Manhattan. Same could be said for Hollywood.
If you're brewing beer in Manhattan, you're either in your living room or in your neighbor's backyard. I mean, let's be real.
And we've been to those living rooms. We've
boy, howdy,
we've
have
hunted them
we
down.
Sure have. Woof.
The name of the brewery comes from LA being considered a quote unquote boom town because people are here to make it big. And that is what inspired the name of the brewery, also inspired a lot of their beers. And that's probably a good segue into our next beer because
hell yeah.
If you come to LA and maybe you're an Ingenue, maybe you're just a dude like me and you feel totally great about your body, and then you spend a few months in LA and you go, maybe I should get a nose job. And that is the perfect segue into the nose job IPA.
IPA. Oh my God. Well done.
Thank you.
Hey, you know what?
Thank you.
Because I was gonna go there and then you did it. Like we were on the same page there. So that was
I've definitely
great.
never had that thought ever. I'm just saying maybe. LA does that.
I feel, no judgment, but I'm good with my nose. I'm good. You know, it's like it's there. It's not perfect. Then again, what is? Anyway, beer, right? Drinking.
Beer.
Okay. It's an IPA. It's the Nosejob IPA. And for some reason, the word is just tickling me in a way I don't really understand why. It is 7%, 65 IBUs. Beer Advocate gave it an 86. Untapped gave it a 3.6. On the SRM chart, we're looking between like a 10 and 11-ish. Steven is live pouring it. Look at that glass. Look at that pour. He's doing it expertly well. He knows what's up. Now, here's where things get great. This is the description of the beer. A West Coast classic. Amen. Moment of silence. This IPA is deep gold in color and brimming with a mix of citrus, tropical fruit, and piney hoppiness. Malt takes the back seat in this ale, weighing in at 7% with a solid bittering. This ale is balanced, but has an emphasis on hop flavor and aroma. Although full of hop flavor, this IPA ends surprisingly clean with a light, lingering hop presence. We got a Westie.
And nothing gets us more perked up on the hop than when somebody says West Coast IPA or New England IPA. We try not to be beer nerds, but when it comes to those words specifically, we have gotten hypercritical over the years. So we will see what happens. Already 65 IBUs. We'll see. No, I'm kidding. It looks definitely West Coast. It's very
if that's what it says on the can. So I went off of what the brewery said.
I absolutely believe it. It is, West Coast IPAs are bitter, but they don't have to be like dank to the point of like, making you. They don't have to have that kind of bite. So 65 can make sense. I'm kidding, and it looks like one. It's clear. It's crystal clear. SRM chart. You may have said this, but it's probably. It's on the lighter side. It's like a 7, maybe.
Oh,
6,
I said
7.
like a 10-ish.
It's not that dark. Like, to me, it's very gold. It's like it looks like sunshine in a glass kind of thing. It's very similar to the Belgian wit. Honestly, it doesn't have that dark amber color to it, but it's clear and filtered. So that is West Coast check mark. It's also brewed on the West Coast for what that's worth.
Yeah, I always find it so funny when like California breweries are like, we got in New England. I'm like, do you though? Do you?
Oh, they do not.
I mean, you probably do, but
I told you they don't call them New England. They call them hazies.
Hazies,
which is a whole other conversation. I'm excited for this one. And when we see West Coast IPAs, we reach for them. We always want to see what that's about. It poured with a very thick and rich, white head that had some good retention, has dissipated a bit, but is still lingering. Look at that. If you're there on YouTube.
The way that I'm set up technically, obviously this was our second beer, so I had it to the side, and the way the lamp was like bouncing off of the head, it literally looked like the foam on top was like shining. And so it like all I needed was a choir just to go around it, and it would have been perfect. But literally, like the light's like bouncing off the head, which makes me what did you say? Percolated? I don't know what you said.
Yeah.
Perk up. It makes me perk up.
Let me tell you something. It smells like a West Coast. That is
sure does.
That is piney. That is citrusy. That is all the citrus characteristics coming together. It's you got your orange, you got your mango, you got your tropical elements, but not too much. It's definitely got some orange peel in there. It is biting, you have the earthiness of the hops, you have the hop oil, you've got the kind of resinous quality, a little bit of florality. There's a lot, maybe a little lavender. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in the hop bill, and then the malt, as the brewery says, takes a back seat. You don't get a lot of that. You don't get a lot of the grain or a lot of the straw or anything like that. It's very fruit forward, very hop forward.
A lot of citrusy, like you said, a lot of citrusy zest. I would also say grapefruit peel,
tangerine.
Yeah. It's just like very, very prominent on the smell. I was very excited learning about this because, like, I don't know, floral and citrusy IPA 7% with the can looking the way it is. I mean, right off the bat, I didn't know if this was going to be New England style, West Coast style. I didn't know what it was going to be. So then doing research on the beer and like reading all about the flavors and what other people experienced, it was like, bada bing, West Coast, let's get it. Here we go. Bada bing,
Yeah. And, you know me, I just looked at the menu and I said, that's the one I want, because we love the West Coast style. And it's the reason we're so critical of it is because we believe as a show that it's a style that has kind of fallen by the wayside in favor of those New England IPAs. So I'm excited for it.
Do we dare drink this puppy?
Let's do it. Let's see if it drinks like a West Coast IPA.
Cheers. Me oh my. Call a doctor.
If it looks like a duck and it smells like a duck, it probably tastes like a duck. And I'm using the word
fights like one too.
I'm using the word duck to describe a West Coast IPA. It's really good. It's got the bite that you want. It's citrusy up front. The citrus is bitter citrus. It's not as tropical as it was on the nose. You get a lot of grapefruit, as Gabe said. You get the orange peel. You get that kind of pithy quality, and then as it moves to the back of your mouth, it hits those bitter taste buds in the back. The shit's bitter. It bites, and it lets you know she's a West Coaster. The mouthfeel is smooth but bold. It is somewhat creamy. It is moderately carbonated and medium bodied, and the back end is just that lingering bitterness that says, I just drank a West Coast IPA today. And you know what? I might have another one.
That lingering bitterness that says, I'm making all the right decisions. It's weird. It's like kind of soft in the mouth, soft water. It's got that like
PSA, soften your water, people. We don't know what that means.
We're gonna Google it so hard when we hang up this episode. But yeah, it's got a great mouthfeel to it. It's got a great, just like as it goes down, it's soft and pillowy in a way, and it's not creamy, but just overall just a solid beer. One that I would definitely get again if I was actually at the brewery singing karaoke,
which we will do when you book your trip this summer. It's everything you want from West Coast. I don't really know what else to say. I gotta give it up. Game is recognizing game on this one. Let's play Joe. Why not?
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Because it's not the most amazing IPA I've ever had. That's not the point, but it's true to the style. And, if you're brewing a West Coast IPA in the West Coast, you should know how to do that. And I think that this is done really well. And sometimes you don't need the twists and turns. You don't need the creativity. Sometimes you just need a really good beer done really well by a local brewery. And I think this comes through on that level.
Yeah. And, it's called Nosejob.
It's a nose job.
Why is that so funny? I've heard that word 100 times, before, but for some reason today, when it's on a beer, it's funny. When it's just like a procedure, it's like, oh wow, that's serious.
Is it as funny as his last name though?
Oh yeah, what was that again?
Chawinga. Sam, if you're listening, you just have a great last name. We're not. I hope you're laughing with us and not at us.
Yeah, it's like it's got a dark meaning behind it. Oh, we're so sorry.
Chawinga. I would have so much fun with that if that was my last name. I don't know that it makes sense to rank them, but I want to just, point out that this is a brewery that they have a lot of beers, and we'll get into what's on tap. But when I was there was a lot of different IPAs. There was a lot of different styles. There was West Coast, there was New England's, there was doubles, there was singles, there was German styles and stouts and Belgians and Pilsners and all the things. So it's a brewery that's...
So beer?
So lots of beer. They're doing a lot in the way of, experimenting, as with the Belgian wit. I think they took the template and kind of see what we can do with it. And then the West Coast, which they're just like taking the style and doing it right, doing it well. Not a brewery to be slept on. Not a brewery you can find in stores, really. Pretty much go there and get it. But if you...
Not a brewery I'll ever see again. But
until you come to LA this summer.
Until I go to LA. I'm going to give the Belgian style wit a gold star. I'm going to give the Nosejob 2 thumbs up. That's my ranking.
I love a ranking system in which the rankings are totally different systems.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of ranking systems, is it time to get Bob Ross back? Bob Ross had a week off. Bob Ross has been lazy, if I'm honest, and not pulling his weight.
Bob Ross putting in that PTO.
Well, it's time to call him back to the mics for my favorite segment, for maybe one of the breweries that deserves it the least. Bob.
Yeah, seriously.
Can Art and Crafts.
Okay, can artwork's not great, but there's a lot to talk about. So let's get the cans out of the way. All right, Ingenue. The Ingenue Belgian style wit, yes. Okay, I mean, it's just the name of the beer is just a sticker. That's going to lose you some points. But it's white and gold, and it's got the Boomtown logo shining sparkly on the side. That's fun. Then we got the Nosejob. I am so immature. You can't take me anywhere. You just can't. We got the Nosejob, and I like the big, bold logo from Boomtown. Just 2 big B's intertwined. Nosejob, orange lettering, looks like some fun design. And that's all well and good. But let's talk about a bigger picture, shall we? Boomtown Brewing. Downtown LA art district. So they're all about artists and art in general. What they say, when your brewery is located in the art district of downtown LA, there's not only a logical connection to the arts, but also responsibility to promote them and their work. That is why this brewery has the Artist Series. It was born from this collection of ideas, a series of delicious, hazy diapers featuring label art that inspired us to push our brewing creativity. With a release every 6 to 8 weeks, the Artist Series celebrates unique art containing unique beer, both made from scratch and enjoyed by many. Here is the most amazing part of this. There are a bunch of beers we're going to talk about them quickly, but if you want to get involved, attention all artists. If you want your design on a collaboration with this brewery, go to their site, fill out the form. It says at the bottom, interested in collaborating with us on a future art series release. Your artwork could potentially be on a beer can. I had a friend do this with Two Roads. She was in the top 8, I believe, finalists to be featured new design on one of their beers. This was a couple years ago. But breweries do this. They love art influence and they love artists reaching out to them. They've got this Artist Series is really dope. Like you said, hazy diapers. It's all really cool and different artwork, different styles of art, different art forms. It kind of similar to paperback in a way, in the sense of like everyone is just so unbelievably different and very bright and vibrant. They really stand out. There's 3 pages just full of beer. We can talk about our favorites. Steven, feel free to chime in. I don't know if you see any you like. I'm looking at the Super Turbo hazy double IPA. It looks like a skull, big bright eyes, and he's freaking out. I'm a big fan of that. I don't know about you.
I mean, there's a lot to love here. I love the graffiti double IPA just because all the cans have different like colors, but there's like balloons on the bottom, and then the top is just this like solid, but they're all changed. Also, the Devil's Delight hazy diaper is fun, and it's like an orange and blue can with like a giant nose blue devil guy hanging out amongst a bunch of orange colors, and the beer is kind of smoking, and it's dope. That one's designed by Keenan Schur, Glendale native.
I'm looking right now at the Ignorant Diaper. This is the artwork on this, as I can only be described as giant marker art. And what I mean by that is you people have seen videos. You've seen those people that go around. They have a giant like marker and they're just like making lines quick and they don't stop. They don't fade anything. It's just like a whoop, 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 whoop. And before you know it, you're looking at an alligator. It's crazy art, but that's basically everything's connected. Like the animal's connected to the person. It's hard to describe, but Ignorant Diaper by Fuzi on their site. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They've got a lot of great work. Bob Ross is out of PTO days. He is here. He is excited. He is going to rank these a 7 and an 8. Belgian style, what's going to get they're going to get a 6. The Nosejob is going to get an 8, but the rest of the beer, the rest of the artwork is really great. We love an artist series. And just because I want to hear it again, the artist series, you know, you got to get some recognition for that. Bob Ross is here. Bob Ross agrees. He is out of PTO. He needs to talk to HR about getting some more. But that's another great edition of Can Arts and Crafts.
The brewery is dope. The brewery has a lot to love. It's got the bar like Gabe's in. It's got the event space, which is what the other side really is. There's actually a bar in both sides. It's a 9,000 square foot space. It's got 23 barrel combination mash tun. It's got 4 30-barrel fermenters, 2 15-barrel fermenters, a whole lot going on. It also, in the vein of Can Arts and Crafts, has a David Bowie tribute mural outside the brewery. You can't really see it from here, but yeah. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. There's a new doc on HBO that I'm very excited to dive into. Yeah. And in terms of what's on tap, I mean, this brewery has, as I said, a lot to offer. They've got everything. They've got plenty of IPAs. They've got plenty of year-rounders, hazies, regulars, the wit beer, they got a Mexican-style lager. They have a Belgian strong. They have a bunch of seasonal stuff that they rotate through, and it's a bunch of different styles
Scottish,
from Germany, from Scotland, from Belgium, obviously. The Magic Napper. That's their Scottish ale. And I love it. And it's
Snaggletooth Kitty.
That's
going to be my next fantasy football team name. The Snaggletooth Kittens. They
also have hard seltzers. And are you a fan of beer aged in a barrel? Because it's the tagline of our show. Put it in a barrel with Gabe and Steven. Michael J. Green.
Exclamation point.
They have an Imperial Stout that's aged in whiskey barrels. They have a Belgian a barrel-aged Saison that they aged at one point that you can buy in a 550 ml bottle.
Sheesh.
Dunkelweizen, one of the more slept-on styles, I'd say. We've maybe had one Dunkelweizen in the history of the hop, and they have one.
That's true. We should get more of those.
And it's called Dunkel Chasing Waterfalls. Fuck yeah.
Dunkel Chasing Waterfall. It works. It works really well.
The names are great. The beers are great. Their Bohemian Pilsner is called Mike Czech, but Czech is spelled like Czech Pilsner, like C-Z-E. I mean, come on. What do I even play for that? Let me just...
Yay!
Let's just throw it up. I mean, I don't know what else.
I just wanted to be involved.
Yeah, they're
and they also have a lot of beers to go. Obviously, you can get most, if not all of these to go. You can get the barrel-aged stuff to go. I suggest you do that.
And food trucks as well. If you're wondering about the food menu, food trucks, and they have a whole schedule of that. Gabe,
Yes.
We got to go.
Fudge.
But before we do, we're going to talk about a bunch of pasta.
Last call.
My Italian ancestors are just rolling in their graves at the sight of this. Some people, some jabroni, dumped a bunch of pasta in a New Jersey riverbank.
Creek.
Basically. Creek. It's according to this article, it says it's not unusual for things to be dumped in New Jersey. If that is an irony, I don't know what is. But someone found hundreds of pounds of pasta left along a local brook in a mystery about who did it and why. Workers in Old Bridge Township found it. They don't know what's going on. According to some locals, this was a little bit of a protest in terms of the city not providing the correct amount or the correct avenues for recycling and or garbage. Apparently this was a stand on we need trash bins, which kind of an interesting stand to take, but there's just a bunch of pasta, and it's a bunch of different pasta. It's not just one kind. There's some rigatoni, there's some spaghetti, there's some penne, if you will. There's a lot going on.
I had a lot of questions when I clicked on the article, and then the article proceeds to answer all of them. I mean, we got to give a shout out to NPR because they're the ones who came up with this. But I'm sitting there reading through it, and I'm like, was it cooked or was it like raw solid pasta? And then there's a whole section that says, was it cooked or raw? And apparently there was conflicting reports.
Yeah, people think it wasn't cooked and that like it was reported that it rained.
It grew,
so like
the direct quote, I believe, is it grew soft and limp from rainfall. No.
Oh god.
Another one bites the dust.
Listen, you don't want to be soft and limp. Anyway,
in so many ways, you don't want to be soft and limp. Oh boy!
But it's several hundreds of pounds of uncooked pasta.
What a waste!
There's a conspiracy that there was a house that a woman lived in, and when she passed away, her son was like cleaning out her house and found all the pasta like in the cupboard, and just ran and dumped it by the creek.
Why? I mean, wouldn't your first reaction if you found a bunch of pasta? All right, let's say, sadly, someone in your life has passed on, God forbid, and they're a pasta hoarder. No judgments. You know, we don't kink shame here on the hop. All right, how would you handle that? Because I have my answer. How would you handle it?
How would I handle finding all the pasta?
Yeah, what would you do with hundreds and hundreds of pounds of pasta? It's like too much pasta.
Step one would probably be like, is this good to eat? And I don't think that pasta really goes bad unless it's been 10 years.
It doesn't. Yeah, my reaction is, how much of this can I humanly take home?
Yeah.
And the rest of it...
It would be, what is the, like, can I eat this? What can I fit in my car? And the rest of it, I would probably, I don't know, like donate it to like a food shelter or something. Exactly.
Like it would be like, I'd be like, all right, how many hundreds of pounds can I eat? Because pasta is my favorite thing in the whole world, but I don't have it that often. So it would be like, how much of this can I take home? And the rest of it would be like, I'm going to take this to a soup kitchen, not leave it in the dirt in like like in a park somewhere or whatever Old Bridge is. I don't know what this is.
Bridge.
It's a township by a creek, I guess. I mean,
I feel like Old Bridge, New Jersey is a town that is made up in like a children's story. It's like where the old witch lived, Old Bridge.
That's good. I like that.
If you're from New Jersey and you're upset, I just don't care.
If you're from New Jersey and you're upset, I can promise you we've upset more people than you. And if you have questions about that, I would direct you to the state of
Montana!
Because they literally are a drop on the show. So
New Jersey! It doesn't roll off the tongue. Doesn't work. I'm sorry. I tried.
Oh, shit. Yeah, apparently this is like some kind of protest because the trash services out there in Old Bridge ain't that great. So
What does a man have to do to get an extra trash bin? I'll tell you what he's got to do. He's got to stand up for himself and take a stand and dump out his
some
mother's
soft
pasta.
limp pasta out by the creek.
Well, when it's in the box, it's rock hard. But when when it's outside and it's being left alone and it's getting rained on, it gets soft
and limp. As you know, when you
and sad.
In the box, you want it stiff and rock hard. But out in the pouring rain, soft and limp. Okay, we're gonna
Let me just say this. I bet a nearby animal or bear had a lovely Italian meal.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge waste of pasta. Is the bottom line, and the
huge waste.
The jokes are far and wide. You can read about more on NPR. It's been picked up by a few different outlets, including ours. But it's hilarious, and also
it also looks really gross.
It does
when
not.
You're looking at
like
I gotta stop looking at this because then I won't eat pasta ever again. And
it looks like
I'm legally not allowed to do that.
It's a weird thing when you see a bunch of dry pasta covered in soil. It looks like a Chef Boyardee situation that's been sitting around way too long and is like molded into something brown instead of red. It's a little off-putting. And
yeah. I agree. However, Chef Boyardee is not terrible. It's not great.
I mean, objectively, it's. I mean,
in a pinch, it works.
No, it's terrible, but it's good. You know, it's like McDonald's. It's like it's terrible,
but
it's good though.
Drunk at 3 a.m. Hell yeah! Pass that shit over.
Yeah, give me some raviolios or whatever the hell they call it. I don't.
Spoiler alert! If it worked in The Last of Us, it can work for all of us.
And with that, we are gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, Boomtown Brewing in downtown Los Angeles. Thank you again for another great episode of The Hop. Gabe and I appreciate you for listening, and we will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode when it is June. Until then, drink good beer, love each other, stay happy.
Shout out to Kevin Asado again. Congrats. Peace out, y'all.